When Ryan climbed into my bed at 5 a.m., I thought I was dreaming of the soft rustle of wind through the open window. His whispered apology was shrill. He lifted the edge of my blanket and slid under it like he belonged there. I lay frozen, my heart pounding, my hands just shaking and sweating. His voice was hoarse with sleep and something else I couldn't place. "Had another nightmare. Can't sleep in there," he said. I wanted to ask him about it, wanted to turn around and offer comfort like any good friend would, but everything turned upside down. But I'll start from the beginning so you understand everything as it was. Ryan Connor became my roommate 8 months ago. Typical American handsome guy, 39 years old, blonde hair, blue eyes, and that damn smile that makes my legs buckle every time. Tall, athletic, plays football on weekends. In short, any gay's wet dream. The only problem is, he's straight as an arrow. Or so it seemed to me. We met on Craigslist. I was looking for a roommate to split the cost of an apartment in Boston. Rents there are insane, so the choice was simple: roommate or live in a shoebox. Ryan was the first to respond, showing up to see the apartment in jeans and a white t-shirt that showed off all the right spots. "Nice place," he said, looking around. "I'll take it." It's that simple. No long negotiations, no questions about lifestyle. He paid a deposit on the spot and moved in a week later. The first few months were torture. Ryan was the perfect roommate. Clean, quiet, paid his bills on time. But fuck, it was so hard to live next to him and not let on that I was going crazy in his presence. In the morning, he would come out of the shower in just a towel, and I would pretend to read the paper, when in reality I was staring at the drops of water running down his torso. He dated different girls. Beautiful, successful, typical straight boy conquests. I smiled and said something like, "She seems nice," every time he told me about a new date. And then I went to my room and quietly hated myself for falling in love with an unavailable man. Ryan worked in an IT company. I was a graphic designer, so our schedules rarely overlapped. Sometimes we cooked dinner together or watched a game on TV, and these moments were simultaneously the best and worst of my life. The best, because I could just be with him. The worst, because I knew this was all I would ever have. And then that night happened. It was early November, cold as a freezer. I was lying in bed, reading a book, about to turn off the light, when I heard a sound, a door creaking, barely audible. I thought I imagined it, but then I saw a silhouette in the doorway. "Alex?" Ryan's voice whispered in the darkness. My heart skipped a beat so hard I was sure he would hear. "What happened?" I asked, sitting up in bed. "Sorry, bro. I had some kind of wild nightmare. I can't fall asleep in my room." He stood at the threshold, in just boxers and a t-shirt, his hair disheveled. Can I lie here for a bit? On the floor or something?" "On the floor? Ryan, are you nuts? Get in bed." The words flew out before my brain could process them. But fuck it. What was I supposed to say? "Sorry, no room? King-size bed? Enough room for a whole football team." He hesitated. "Are you sure? I don't want to create a weird situation. We are adults. It's fine." Ryan carefully lifted the edge of the blanket and slid under it. The mattress sank under his weight, and I could feel the warmth of his body even through the space between us. We were lying on our backs, looking at the ceiling, each in our own half of the bed. "Thanks," he muttered. "I know it's weird." "Not weird," I lied. "Sometimes bad dreams really mess with your head." We lay in silence for about 15 minutes. I listened to his breathing, trying not to think about the fact that there were only a few inches of fabric and empty space between us now. Gradually, his breathing became even, and I realized that he had fallen asleep. And I lay awake for another 2 hours, memorizing every sound, every movement, the way he sometimes sighed in his sleep, the way he unconsciously moved closer to the warmth. At one point, his hand was so close to mine that I felt the warmth of his skin. This is torture, I thought. Beautiful, exquisite torture. In the morning, I woke up before him. Ryan was lying on his side, facing me, one arm tucked under his head. In his sleep, he looked younger, peaceful, without that constant tension I sometimes noticed in his eyes during the day. I stood up carefully, trying not to wake him, and went to make coffee. When he appeared in the kitchen half an hour later, already fully dressed, he looked as usual, confident, charming, slightly cocky. "Morning, Sleeping Beauty," he said, grabbing a mug. Same greeting as always. "Sleep better?" I asked, testing the waters. "Yeah, fine. You?" "Lie, but I didn't push." "Good." We drank coffee. He scrolled his phone. I pretended to read the news. No mentions of last night, no acknowledgements, as if nothing had happened. but something had changed. A subtle shift in the way he looked at me, or maybe that was my wishful thinking. 2 weeks passed normally. Ryan went to work, to dates, to the gym. I worked, met with friends, tried not to think about that night, but then it happened again. This time, I was awake when he showed up at the doorway. It was about 2 in the morning, and I was lying there thinking about tomorrow's deadline. "Alex," he called quietly. "Are you awake? Number, what's up? Another fucking nightmare. I don't know what's happening to me lately." I moved away, making space. "Come here." He crossed the room faster this time, as if afraid he might lose nerve, slipped under the covers more easily, settled next to me with a soft sigh. "Want to talk about it?" I asked. "Not really." His voice was muffled against the pillow. "Is this weird?" "This is probably weird," honest answer. "But not like bad weird?" I thought carefully. Number, not bad weird. "Good. Because," he paused, "I don't know what I'd do without you." The words hit me like a physical blow, sweet and painful at the same time. I wanted to reach out, offer comfort the way my body was screaming for. Instead, I kept my hands to myself and listened to his breathing gradually even out. Whatever demons were chasing Ryan through his dreams, I would be his sanctuary, even if it meant lying awake all night, memorizing the sound of his heartbeat and trying not to want more than he could give. After that, it became a pattern. Once or twice a week, Ryan would appear at my bedside in the early hours of the morning, sliding under my covers with increasing familiarity. We never talked about it during the day, maintaining the fiction that these midnight visits were just a temporary arrangement. But I began to notice changes in Ryan beyond nighttime habits. He started staying home more often, turning down invitations to go out with his soccer teammates. Steady stream of dates dwindled to nothing. He grew quieter, more thoughtful. One evening I found him on our small balcony, nursing beer and watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of orange and pink. The autumn air was crisp, and he'd wrapped himself in the oversized hoodie I'd bought him for his birthday. "Mind if I join you?" I asked, settling in a chair beside him. "Free country." We sat in comfortable silence, watching the city come alive with evening lights. Ryan had always been easy to be around, but there was something different about him lately. Quality stillness that felt both peaceful and melancholy. "Can I ask you something?" he said eventually. "Shoot. Do you ever feel like you're living the wrong life? Like you're going through all the motions of being who you think you're supposed to be, but it doesn't actually fit?" Question caught me off guard with his honesty. Ryan rarely talked about anything deeper than weekend plans or whose turn to buy groceries. "Sometimes," I admitted. "Think everyone feels that way occasionally." "Yeah, but what if it's not occasional? What if it's every day, and you're starting to realize that the person you've been pretending to be isn't who you actually are?" My heart started beating faster, sensing undercurrents in his words. "Then I guess you have to decide whether you're brave enough to stop pretending." Ryan took a long pull from his beer, eyes fixed on the horizon. "What if being honest means losing everything you thought you wanted? Maybe everything you thought you wanted wasn't actually what you needed." He turned to look at me then, really look, and I saw something in his expression that made my breath catch. There was longing there and fear, and a kind of desperate hope that I recognized because I'd seen it in my own mirror countless times. "Alex," he began, then stopped, shaking his head. "Never mind. You're not weird," I said, echoing his words from that first night. "You're figuring things out. That's human." Silence stretched between us, heavy with unspoken possibilities. Part of me wanted push, wanted to ask direct questions, force honesty out of him. But the bigger part knew that if Ryan was questioning things, if he was starting to see possibilities he'd never considered before, I didn't want to be the one to push him before he was ready. But God, waiting was killing me. "I should probably head to bed," he said finally, standing up. "Yeah, me too." We walked inside together, said goodnight in the hallway. But as he turned to go to his room, something made me speak up. "Ryan? Yeah? Whatever you're figuring out, take your time. But don't talk yourself out of what makes you happy just because it's different from what you expected." He looked at me for a long moment, expression unreadable. "Thanks, Alex, really." That night, he didn't come to my bed. I lay there waiting, listening for the sound of his footsteps, but they never came. Maybe he needed space to think. Maybe my words scared him off. Or maybe he was finally ready to start being honest with himself about what he really wanted. Whatever the case, I knew one thing certain. Something between us was building to a breaking point. And soon, one of us would have to choose between safety pretending and risk truth. I just hoped when that moment came, we'd both be brave enough to choose love. The next week was fucking weird. Ryan didn't come to my bedside. and I began to think that our conversation on the balcony had scared him off. Maybe I'd said too much, pushed too hard. But on Thursday night, around 3 in the morning, I heard familiar footsteps. Alex whispered in the darkness. Yeah, come. This time he didn't apologize for the nightmares, didn't make excuses. He just slid under the covers and settled next to me with a soft sigh. Couldn't sleep, he said simply. Me either. We lay in the darkness, and I felt something shift between us. The air was thick with unspoken things, with possibilities we were both afraid to call out loud. Alex, he began after a long silence. Do you think it's possible not to know something important about yourself until a certain age? My heart started racing. Like what? Like who you're really attracted to, who you really want to be with. Holy shit. We were really doing this conversation. Yeah, I said carefully. Think a lot of people figure things out later in life. Society tells us so much bullshit about who we should be that sometimes it takes a while to figure out what's actually true. What if you've been living lie your whole life and didn't even know it? Then you start telling the truth. He turned to the side, facing me in the darkness. I could feel his breath on my face, warm and slightly unsteady. I keep thinking about something, he whispered. What? About how different I feel when I'm with you, how safe, like I can just be whoever I am without pretending. My pulse was thundering in my ears. And who are you when you're not pretending? Long pause. Then, so quiet I almost missed it. I don't know yet, but I think I want to find out. His hand moved under the covers, found mine, fingers intertwined tentatively like he was testing boundaries. Is this okay? He asked. Yeah, this is okay. We laid there holding hands in the darkness, and it was both innocent and incredibly intimate. Every nerve in my body was alive, hyper-aware of where he touched me, where our skin connected. I've never, he began, then stopped. Never what? Never felt this way about another guy. Never even thought about it. But with you. With me what? With you it's different. You're different. My heart was beating so hard I was sure he could hear it. Ryan, I whispered. Yeah? Can I kiss you? Silence. Long, terrible silence where I thought I'd fucked everything up. Pushed too far, ruined whatever this was. Then, I don't know if I'm ready for that. Okay, that's okay. But I want to be ready. Does that make sense? Perfect sense. We lay there in quiet, hands still connected, breathing the same air. I felt him drift off, but I eventually remained awake, marveling at the fact that Ryan, straight, confident, never questioned himself Ryan, was lying in my bed holding my hand and admitting he might want something different from what he'd always thought. Next morning he didn't disappear like usual. Instead, he stayed in bed even after I woke up, propped up on my elbow while watching me. Morning, he said softly. Hey, about last night? What about it? I meant what I said. About wanting to figure things out. About feeling different with you. I know, and I'm scared as fuck. I know that too. He smiled then, a real smile that reached his eyes. But I'm more scared of not trying. That day was the first time in months that Ryan seemed like himself, relaxed, happy, making jokes during breakfast. But there was new quality to his attention, way he looked at me like he was seeing something he'd missed before. I'm calling sick today, he announced over coffee. Why? Because I want to spend the day with you. Just us. No work, no distractions, no outside world. What do you want to do? I don't know. Normal stuff. Whatever couples do. Word couples hung in the air between us. Bold assumption, but he didn't take it back. We spent the day doing mundane shit. Grocery shopping, laundry, watching movies on the couch. But everything felt different now, charged with new awareness. When our hands brushed reaching for the same item, when he laughed at something I said, when he unconsciously moved closer to the couch during film. This feels right, he said during a quiet moment in the afternoon. What does? This United States, being together like this. But I still don't know what it means. What I am, what we are. Labels don't matter, told him. What matters is how you feel. And how do I feel? I looked at him. This handsome man who was brave enough to question everything he thought he knew about himself. Happy. You feel happy. Yeah, he smiled. I do. That evening we made dinner together, an elaborate pasta dish that turned out mediocre but tasted amazing because we cooked it together. Ryan kept finding excuses to touch me, hand on my back when he passed behind me, fingers brushing when he handed me things. You know, he said as we cleaned up, I haven't thought about dating anyone else in weeks. No, haven't wanted to. Only person I want to be with is you. After dinner, we sat on the couch, pretending to watch TV, but really just stealing glances at each other. Sexual tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. "Alex," he said during commercial break. "Yeah? Earlier you asked if you could kiss me. The question still stands?" My breath caught. "Yeah, question still stands. I think I'm ready now." I turned face him fully. "Are you sure?" "Number, but I want to be sure. Want to find out what it feels like." I moved closer to the couch until our thighs were touching. Ryan's eyes were wide, nervous but determined. "Just tell me if you want to stop," I said. "Okay." I reached up, cupped his face gently. His skin was warm, slight stubble rough under my palm. Slowly, giving him every chance back away, I leaned forward. Kiss was soft, tentative. His lips were warm and slightly parted, and for the moment he was perfectly still. Then, like if something clicked into place, he kissed me back. It wasn't earth-shattering or movie scene dramatic. It was just right, like puzzle piece finally finding its place. When we broke apart, we were both breathing hard. "Fuck," he whispered. "Good fuck or bad fuck?" "Definitely good fuck." He touched his lips like he couldn't believe what had happened. Can we do that again?" This time when we kissed, he was more confident, more present. His hands found my waist, pulled me closer. I could feel him relaxing into it, letting himself enjoy the sensation. After, we laid tangled together on the couch, his head on my chest, both still catching our breath. "So," I said eventually. "So, how was that?" "Life-changing," he admitted. "Also terrifying. Also, I want to do it again." "We can do it again whenever you want." "Right now?" "Especially right now." We kissed until our lips were swollen, until the TV show ended and started again, until Ryan finally pulled back and said, "I should probably process this, all of this." "Of course. But I don't want you to think I'm running away again. I'm not. I just need time to wrap my head around the fact that everything I thought I knew about myself just changed. Take all the time you need. Will you be patient with me while I figure it out?" "I've been patient this long." That night he went to his own bed but texted me from other room. "Thank you for today. For everything. For being you." I texted back, "Sleep well. No more nightmares." "No more nightmares," he agreed. "Just good dreams now." Next few days were careful dance. Ryan was processing, figuring things out, and I tried to give him space while still being there when I needed him. We'd catch each other looking, and he'd smile this new smile, shy but genuine. On Sunday he asked if we could talk. "I've been thinking," he started as we sat on our balcony again. "Dangerous." He didn't laugh. "Shut up, I'm trying to be serious here." "Sorry, go ahead." "I don't know if I'm gay. I don't know if I'm bi. I don't know what labels apply to me, but I know one thing for certain." "What's that?" "I'm falling for you. Hard. And not just because you're guy or because you're different from anyone I've been with before. I'm falling for you because you're kind and patient and funny, and you make me feel like I can be completely honest for the first time in my life." My heart felt too big for my chest. "I can't promise I'll have everything figured out tomorrow," he continued. "I can't promise it will be easy or that I won't get scared again, but I can promise that I want see where this goes." "That's all I need," told him. "Really?" "Really." He leaned over and kissed me then, right there on the balcony where anyone could see. When we broke apart, he was smiling. "So what does this make us?" he asked. "Happy," I said. "It makes us happy." I like that answer. That night, for the first time, Ryan came to my bed not because of nightmares or fear. He came because he wanted to be close to me, because we were starting something new together. "No more excuses," he said as he settled under the covers. "No more excuses," I agreed. As I fell asleep with his arm around me, I couldn't help but think how funny life was. Ryan had been coming to my bed seeking comfort from nightmares, but what he'd found instead was beginning of dream he'd never known he wanted. The honeymoon period lasted exactly 3 fucking days. Wednesday morning I woke up alone, and something in the air in the apartment was wrong. Ryan was sitting in the kitchen with his coffee, staring at his phone, but I could tell he wasn't reading. He was just staring at the screen, like it was the answers to the questions he was afraid to ask. "Morning," I said, pouring myself some coffee. "Hey." His voice was flat, distant, not at all the warm tone it had had in recent days. "Is everything okay?" "Yeah, fine, just thinking." Red flag. When Ryan said thinking, it usually meant he was overthinking to the point of having a panic attack. "Want to talk about it?" "Not really." He stood up, rinsing his cup in the sink. "I'm going to be late for work." And he left without the usual kiss goodbye, without even a proper look at me. Fuck. I'd been trying to concentrate at work all day, but my brain was stuck on how far Ryan had been this morning. Maybe he just needed to time the process. Maybe it's the normal part of figuring shit out. but something in my gut told me it was more than that. When I got home at 7, his car was in the parking lot, but the apartment was dark. I found him in his room, sitting on the edge of the bed, staring at the wall. Ryan? He jumped like I startled him. Oh, hey, didn't hear you come in. What's going on? You've been weird all day. He ran his hand through the hair, a nervous habit I learned to recognize. I fucked up. What do you mean? This, United States, everything. He gestured vaguely between us. I got caught up in whatever it was, but now I'm thinking clearly again. My stomach dropped. Thinking clearly about what? About the fact that I'm not gay, Alex. I'm not. I like women. I've always liked women. And just because I had some confused moment doesn't mean I should throw away my entire identity. Words hit like physical blow. Confused moment? That's what you're calling it? What else should I call it? I was vulnerable, you were there, and I misinterpreted gratitude for something else. Bullshit. My voice was sharper than I intended. You felt what you felt. I saw it in your eyes. I felt nothing. He stood up, pacing away from me. I was confused and lonely, and you were convenient. That word, convenient, hurt worse than anything else he could have said. So the kissing, the hand-holding, telling me you were falling for me, that was all what? Some kind of experiment? Yes. No. Fuck, I don't know. He was frustrated, angry at himself more than at me. Look, I appreciate that you were there for me when I needed a friend, but I can't pretend to be something I'm not just because you want me to be. I never asked you to pretend anything, didn't you? All those leading questions, those meaningful looks. You've been waiting for this, haven't you? Waiting for me crack so you could swoop in. Now I was getting angry. That's not fair and you know it. Isn't it? Come on, Alex. You think I didn't notice how you looked at me? How did you find excuses to touch me? I'm not stupid. If you knew, why didn't you say anything? Because I felt sorry for you. Because I thought if I could just be a good friend, maybe you'd get over it. Each word was like knife twist. Get over it. Yeah, get over this obsession. Find someone who's actually available. Obsession? My voice was dangerously quiet. Ryan seemed to realize he'd gone too far, but he was too deep in panic mode. Stop himself. Look, I'm sorry if I gave you the wrong impression, but I'm straight. I like pussy, not dick, and I need you to understand that. Crude words were designed hurt, and they did their job perfectly. Crystal clear, I said. Thanks for spelling it out. Alex ... No, you're right. Clearly I misread everything. My mistake. I turned to leave, but his voice stopped me. Where are you going? Out. Need some air. When will you be back? Don't know. Don't wait up. I left apartment and walked to the nearest bar, ordered whiskey, and tried not to think about how thoroughly I'd been demolished in space of 10 minutes. Bartender was a cute guy in his 20s, and under normal circumstances I might have flirted, but right now I felt hollow, like Ryan had scooped out everything good inside me and left me empty. Around midnight, drunk and feeling sorry for myself, I called my friend Marcus. Jesus, Alex, it's late. What's wrong? My roommate just told me he was using me for convenient emotional support while figuring out he's definitely straight. Ouch. That's rough, buddy. Worst part is I believed him. For a minute there, I actually thought we had something real. Maybe you did. Maybe he's just scared. No, he was pretty clear about licking pussy over dick. His exact words. Marcus wins audibly. Okay, yeah, that's definitely him being defensive asshole, but Alex, guys don't usually have identity crisis over someone they feel nothing for. What do you mean? I mean, maybe he's not as straight as he wants to believe, and maybe that scares shit out of him. When I got home, the apartment was dark. Ryan's door was closed, no light underneath. I went my room, tried to sleep, but kept replaying everything he'd said, way he'd looked when he said it. Angry, yes, but also afraid, desperate even. Next morning, I woke up, find note on kitchen counter. Gone to stay at another place for a few days. Need some space, think. Sorry for last night. Space. Right, because what he really needed was time to convince himself what he felt wasn't real. 3 days passed. No texts, no calls. I threw myself into work, tried to keep busy, but the evenings were hell. Coming home to empty apartment, no Ryan making terrible jokes or stealing my food, just silence and absence of him everywhere. On Friday, his friend Josh called me. Hey man, is Ryan okay? He's been staying on my couch, and he seems really fucked up about something. We had a fight about roommate stuff. Must have been some fight. He's been moping around like someone died. He say anything specific? Just keeps talking about how he fucked up something good. Won't tell me the details, though. After Josh hung up, I sat in the kitchen thinking, if Ryan was so sure that he felt nothing, why was he miserable? Why wasn't he relieved to be away from the situation he claimed was making him uncomfortable? Answer came Sunday night when he finally came home. I heard the key in the lock around 10, sound of him moving quietly through the apartment. Part me wanted to ignore him, make him come me if he wanted talk, but bigger part needed see his face, gauge where his head was. I found him in the living room, sitting on the couch with beer, staring at the blank TV screen. "Hey," I said. "Hey." He looked like shit. Unshaven, tired, clothes wrinkled like he'd been sleeping in them. "Where was Josh's place?" "Fine. Uncomfortable. His couch sucks." We stood there in awkward silence. Finally, Ryan spoke. "I've been thinking, dangerous habitat." Small smile flickered across his face. "Yeah, but I realized something." "What's that?" "I realized that running away didn't fix anything. Didn't make me feel better, didn't clarify my feelings, didn't make life easier. And I realized that whether I'm gay or straight or whatever label fits, none of that changes the fact that I care about you, that you're important to me." My heart started beating faster, but I kept my voice careful. "As a friend?" Long pause. "I don't know. Maybe more than friend. Maybe lots more." "Ryan?" "Let me finish." He stood up, faced me directly. "Last week was scary as fuck. All those feelings, all that intimacy. It turned my world upside down. And my first instinct was run, deny everything, protect myself by hurting me. By hurting you," he agreed quietly, "which was shitty and cruel, and I'm sorry. You didn't deserve that." "No, I didn't. But 3 days away from you taught me something important. Whatever I am, whoever I am, I'm not complete without you in my life. And not just as roommate or friend, as whatever this is between us." I studied his face, looking for signs he might panic again, run again. "What are you saying exactly?" "I'm saying I don't know if I'm gay. Don't know if this means I'm bi or just specifically attracted to you. But I know that what we have is real, and I want to explore it, want to see where it goes, even though it scares you. Especially because it scares me. Because the best things in life usually do." He didn't step closer. "Can you forgive me for being scared, asshole? Can we try again?" I looked at this man who'd hurt me terribly but was brave enough to come back, admit his mistakes, ask for another chance. "One condition," I said. "Anything. No more running. If you get scared, we talk about it. If you have doubts, we work through them. But no more disappearing. No more cruel words designed to push me away." "Deal." He reached my hands. "So we're really doing this?" "Yeah, we're really doing this. Even though I have no idea what I'm doing?" "Especially because you have no idea what you're doing. Keeps things interesting." He laughed then, real laugh I'd missed desperately. "I love you, Alex." Words I'd been waiting months to hear, delivered simply, honestly. "I love you too." When we kissed, it felt like coming home, like everything was exactly as it should be. Whatever came next, we'd face it together. After our reconciliation, everything changed, but this time in the right fucking way. Ryan no longer fought himself, no longer ran from what he felt. Instead, he dove headfirst into learning about himself and us, with an enthusiasm that both thrilled and terrified me. "I want to do this right," he said Monday morning as we drank coffee. "Want to figure out who I am when I'm with you. And who is this? Happy. Definitely happy." He smiled, reaching across the table to take my hand. Also confused as fuck, but in a good way. First week back together was like rediscovering each other. We kissed constantly, in the kitchen while making breakfast, on the couch during movies, in the hallway just because we could. Ryan approached physical intimacy with the same curiosity he brought to everything else. "Is it weird that I've never done this?" he asked one evening as we lay on his bed, fully clothed, but thoroughly tangled together. "Done what?" "Kissed guy, touched guy, any of this." "Little bit," I admitted, "but good weird. I keep waiting to feel guilty or wrong, but..." He trailed off, fingers tracing patterns on my chest. "But what?" "But I feel more right than I've ever felt in my life." That night things escalated naturally. Not rushed, not desperate, just inevitable progression of two people who couldn't keep hands off each other. "I don't know what I'm doing," he whispered, as his hands explored the places they'd never been before. "Neither did I first time." "But do you want this? Really want this?" "I've wanted this for months. Question is, do you?" His answer came in the form of a kiss so deep and desperate that I forgot everything except the sensation of him against me, around me, everywhere. After we lay catching our breath, Ryan was quiet for a long time. "That was," he began. "Yeah. I can't believe I waited so long to figure this out." "Worth the wait?" He turned to look at me, expression serious. "Everything. Worth everything." The next few weeks were a period of adjustment and discovery. Ryan threw himself into learning about queer culture with the same intensity he brought to work projects. He researched, asked questions, even started following LGBTQ accounts on social media. "Did you know," he announced one evening, bursting in the kitchen where I was making dinner, "that there's a whole history of men who didn't figure out their sexuality until later in life? Like, this isn't a weird aberration. This is actually pretty common." "You've been Googling again." "Extensively. Also, I may have ordered several books." "What kind of books?" "Coming out memoirs, sexuality studies. Also, that appears be gay romance novel because Amazon recommended it and cover looked interesting." I laughed. "You're such a nerd." "You're a nerd now." The domesticity of it all was intoxicating. Waking up together, sharing bathroom routines, fighting over what to watch on TV, all things we'd done as roommates, but now with an added layer of intimacy that made everything feel new. "I want to tell people," Ryan said one Saturday morning over pancakes. "Tell them what?" "About us. About me figuring out I'm whatever I am. I'm tired of hiding." "Are you sure?" "That's a big step. I've been thinking about it for weeks. I don't want to be closeted. Don't want to pretend you're just my roommate when you're clearly much more." "Who do you want to start with?" "Josh, probably. He's been asking why I'm so happy lately. Also," unhesitated, "I want call my sister." "Your sister lives of Seattle, right?" "Yeah, she's cool though. I think I'll be supportive." That afternoon, Ryan called Josh, asked him come over. Poor guy walked of expecting casual hangout, he instead got full confession. Wait, said Josh, looking between Nas as me sat in a couch, carefully spaced apart. "You two are together," finished Ryan. "Dating, boyfriends, whatever term fits." "Since when?" "Officially, about month. Enter gay or bi. Still figuring out labels, no, definitely not straight." Josh processed this information while drinking beer. Finally, "Huh? Actually explains a lot." "What did he mean?" "Dude, t've been different these past few months. Happier. More relaxed. I thought maybe te were getting laid regularly, no. On ulibnulsa. Guess ya was right." Conversation went easier than expected. Josh asked thoughtful questions, made few awkward jokes. No, overall was completely supportive. "So how long have te known?" On asked Mene. "That yam gay? Since college? That ya was into rayin'? Pretty much since Den moved in. And te just waited for him figure it out? What else could you do? Can't force someone realize they're queer?" Josh looked na Ryan with new respect. Must have been scary as hell. Terrifying, but worth it. Sister conversation went even better. Ryan put phone na speaker so ya could hear. "I'm so happy for T," she practically squealed after Vin finished explaining. "I've been waiting for this call for years." "What did T mean?" "Ryan, come on, T think I didn't notice how miserable T were with every girlfriend? How forced everything seemed? And now T sound happier than I've heard T've ever. So T''re okay with it?" "More than okay. I'm thrilled. When do ya get meet Alex properly?" "Soon," promised Ryan, smiling na Mena. "Very soon." Over next month, Ryan slowly came out to more people. Some reactions were awkward, few were negative, no, most were surprisingly positive. His co-workers took it stride, ego parents needed time adjust, no, ultimately came around. "I keep waiting for other shoe drop," On told many one night, "for someone make big deal about it. Maybe shoe won't drop, maybe people are more accepting than T thought, maybe," On curled against many. "Still feels surreal sometimes, being able do this, touch to whenever you want, tell people they're mine." "I'm yours?" "Aren't T?" "Completely." 3 months after me officially got together, Ryan surprised many. "I want to go to Pride," announced Vin. "Really?" "Really. I know I'm new to all this, but I want to experience it. Want to celebrate who I am now, who we are together." Pride weekend was incredible. Watching Ryan experience queer community for the first time, seeing him connect with other people who'd figured things out later in life, watching him wear rainbow flag like badge of honor, all of it made my heart feel too big for my chest. "I can't believe I almost missed this," he said as we walked through the crowd, hands intertwined. "Missed what?" "This feeling. Being proud of who I am instead of ashamed. Being able to love you openly." That night, back in our apartment, our shared space that finally felt like home, we made love with new intensity. Not just passion, but celebration. Joy in finally being able to be ourselves completely. "I love you," he whispered against my neck after. "All of you. Everything about you. Even when do I leave dishes in the sink? Especially then." 6 months in, things between us had settled in a comfortable rhythm. We'd learned each other's habits, preferences, little annoying quirks. Ryan hummed tunelessly in the shower. I left coffee grounds on the counter. He hogged blankets. I read in bed with light on too late. This is what relationship feels like, he observed one evening as we bickered over whose turn to buy groceries. Yeah, boring domestic bliss. I like boring domestic bliss. Good, because you're stuck with it. Stuck with you. That Saturday we went furniture shopping, ostensibly for a new coffee table, but really just enjoying being a couple doing couple things. At the home goods store, sales associate assumed we were together, asking about your apartment and your style preferences. First time someone's just assumed, Ryan noted as we left store. How'd it feel? Natural, right? He stopped walking, turned his face to me on a busy sidewalk. Alex? Yeah? I know we haven't talked about long-term stuff yet, but I want you to know, this isn't temporary for me. This isn't experiment or phase. This is my life now. You're my life. Good thing since I'm not going anywhere. Promise? Promise. That night I watched him sleep, marveling at how peaceful he looked. No more nightmares, no more restless tossing. Just deep, content sleep of someone who'd finally found where he belonged. Thank you, I whispered into the darkness, not sure if I was talking to him or the universe or whoever was responsible for bringing us together. As if he heard me, Ryan shifted closer to his sleep, arm tightening around my waist. Love you too, muttered Vin, voice thick with sleep. Watching him, this brave man who'd risked everything figure out who he really was, I knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, we'd face them together. No more running, no more hiding, no more pretending to be anything other than exactly who we were meant to be, just us finally home.